Previously in Bailey Who. The friends of Bailey get visited by familiar villains, with the cyborgs finding out the universe the soldier and the scientist are in, aka C-137. So they plan an attack. They breach with a cyber carrier. Bounty hunters attack Moon and Star. They will stop at nothing to kill the soldier. In the end, Bailey kills Moon. This leaves Star hurting, and in the culture of the Dark Guardian, she uses that grief and anger. However, she doesn't realise someone else is as well. The soldier goes up to deal with the cyber ship, while the professor and the scientist make the realisation that Cyborg Bailey is alive, but insane and in ownership of his own reality. The last time they saw Cyborg Bailey was in the first battle of his creation, when the soldier sent him into the temporal schism. The cyber ship was a trap. It crashes down, destroying the TARDIS and nearly killing Soldier. He regenerates, and the scientist gets a visit from an angry Star. Her eyes turn black. The clouds in the sky get darker as the crashed ship still burns in the background. The scientist is on the floor outside of the apartment, confused and scared for his life. Star glooms over him.
You will pay.
Wait, Star!
Star goes to stab Ben. Ben rolls to the side and kicks Star, and then he gets up. Ben starts walking backwards, holding his hands up towards Star. Star's eyes still glow black.
You will pay for that.
Star, it's not too late. You can stop whatever this is.
Star swings her light sword at Ben. He jumps backwards. Ben begins to panic.
Stop saying that.
I am
not Star.
Star, are you okay?
She is weak.
Star, you can fight this.
I can't hold it anymore.
Yes, give up and die.
Star drops on her knees, her black solid eyes closed as she drops face down.
Star!
There is no Star. She is dead.
Black dark mist flows out of Star's eyes, mouth and nose. They form a man in front of the body. A man with a shirt and tie, rings on his fingers and black nail polish. They are now in front of the dead body of Star, staring at Ben.
That took longer than expected.
What are you?
All in good time. First, I think I should get rid of you.
The man puts his hand behind his back and then pulls out a sword. A black sword. It's like a shadow on a wall. Lightning runs through it, only when he makes contact with something.
Dark sword before you ask. Not very fond of light.
The man swings the sword towards the scientist. He ducks and rolls. He picks up his light sword and swings to block the next strike from the man. The man is calm and collected. He fights like a duelist. Ben, aka the scientist, the man who taught Soldier, is currently fighting sloppy. He is tired and caught off guard, but luckily, the man seems to be going easy on him, almost like he feels pity. Then this strange man does something strange, something unexpected. His left hand, the one not holding the dark sword, glows black with a dark-looking cloud around it. He lifts it and flicks his wrists. The scientist's light sword flies out of his hand. Then the scientist is blown back against the fence on the floor. The man then puts his hand on his side like he's holding a scabbard, then slides his sword into his hand. It does not appear as it passes the hand, however.
We should carry on another time. I am too fresh. Only level 1. Need to reach level 10 again.
You're a level 10 at magic. That's the highest. You should have won.
As I just said, I've only just come into this reality. Takes me a while to get back to normal.
Wait, no!
Bye now.
A black tornado flies around the man. It becomes so black you can no longer see through it. Then, as it dissipates, there, are gone.
Damn it! So there's something else we need to worry about. At least it can't get any worse.
Then from the side of the street, as the scientist gets up, the professor teleports in with Bailey, aka Soldier, in her arms.
Sorry to be the bringer of bad news, but we're going to have to deal with the cyborgs by ourselves. He regenerated.
Great, 15 hours without Bailey. Oh, guess I should fill you in with my bad news.
Oh no. What?
In a little park in the middle of nowhere stands Cyborg Ben, waiting for someone. Then, popping into existence. No sound, no nothing, just suddenly there. Cyborg Bailey is there swinging on a swing, laughing to himself. The insanity ran through his mind. Nothing but the music of the birds. We have a new visitor.
Oh, so he has arrived. Just like what your prophecy said. What's his name again?
He goes by many names. Darkness, nightmare, the shadow, pure evil.
Well, we should carry on with our plans. Gather humans to be upgraded.
That isn't very wise. We should wait until this creature is defeated. It's powerful.
You listen to me, remember? If this darkness is going to be such a problem, I want you to eliminate him.
No. We can't have that. No.
Why not?
The prophecy. It's not time. He has to be level 10. If you want your outcome after all of this.
Level?
I'll explain later. Let's just wait it out. He won't be here long.
As soon as he reaches level 10, I want you to pay him a visit.
Cyborg Bailey smiles with a big childish grin, then nods his head. The scientist and the professor are leaving the house that the scientist and soldier live in. Well, they live in the top apartment. Ben closes the door behind them and turns to the professor.
Okay, well, Bailey's passed out. How are we going to get rid of cyborgs and darkness?
Me. I trained Bailey after all. I could do it.
Well, I trained him more since then. Who do you want to start with?
Probably. Darkness, as you said, he has to level up, so if we get him while he's low, it'll be easier, right?
Yeah,
If only we knew more about the creature.
way ahead of you. I took this from Bailey just then.
Inside of the scientist's hand is the knowledge book. He searches the pages, looking for darkness. He finds one page, only one. It reads, "Little is known about this ancient being. It has magical abilities, and he can possibly travel through time and space. He has a weakness to light, which kind is unknown."
Great. That didn't help at all.
Well, actually it did. We know the light is his weakness.
Which kind?
That's the hard part. There's light as in light bulbs.
Obviously that's not it.
There's light as in goodness.
Maybe.
Certain radiation.
Would the sun hurt him then?
Not necessarily. It depends on the strength. Plasma may harm him, in which case we are in luck, because that's what the light swords are made out of.
Really? Feel like I should have known that before I bought loads off you for the Time Lord Assassins.
Well, I have a schematic that could help if that is the case. I'll test it out on my light sword. Let me just go and get it from the house.
They finally make it to the gate, but then the scientist makes a full U-turn and begins to head back inside the apartment.
In the meantime, how can we find this darkness?
The scientist then makes another U-turn, turning back to the professor and wasting more time.
I have no clue. Actually, I just thought there is something I have to do before getting that schematic.
And what's that?
The scientist takes out his light sword and grins. He looks at her and she can tell instantly he's been waiting to do this the moment he met her, just out of pure interest.
Test your fighting skills.
Did you do this with Soldier? I mean Bailey.
Indeed, I did. Hope you will do better.
Are you sure you want to do this? I mean, we are on the clock.
We have time. We have to wait for darkness to attack anyway to find him.
Can I use my fibre wire? And my little knife? And my bat? I assume no guns.
Use whatever you want, just not the guns, please. I am only human.
The professor nods. She doesn't take out her sword or anything like that. She just simply takes out of a fibre wire. She twirls it around her hands and takes a defensive stance. She waits for the scientist to strike. Now, The professor's been a Time Lord assassin most of her life. She started when she was a child. Being a Time Lord, you don't have what humans call gender. She was never discriminated against. They are all treated the same as Time Lords. They're genderless. However, she knows that biologically the scientist is bigger than her. Actually, she finds with her new regeneration she's smaller than most people. She used to be bigger than most males. Once, when she was in Russia, taking bets and shots while arm wrestling countless men and winning always. Well, that's a story for another day. Now, she knew what she was doing. As the scientist went for the first strike, she ducked and moved forward. The scientist pushed forward with the strike, leaning into it. The professor saw this and pushed him to the side. Then, as he attempted to sort out of his balance, she wrapped his fibre wire, lifting his hand up and twisting it, making him drop the light sword. The scientist then realised what she was doing. He reached with the other hand and pulled her back. She swung, he blocked with his hand. Professor went for a kick, the scientist caught it. She pushed herself up with the other leg, spinning in the air, doing a barrel roll right out of his grasp. As she landed, she took something out of her shoe and runs towards him. He braces for impact, but she actually grabs and spins. Then next to the scientist's nose, there's a little pure metal blade pointed at his neck. The handle is covered in some sort of Gallifreyan writing.
Wow, you're good. Where'd you get the knife from?
It was the first weapon I was given when I was a kid. Rassilon himself gave it to me when I began my training as an assassin.
When did you get the other stuff?
It was all given to me as a kid gradually. Except the light sword, obviously. I was given a normal sword.
The professor lets go of the scientist and takes a step back. He turns round and looks at her with a grin.
You're welcome for the upgrade.
Not that it helps. Every villain got their hands on one. Why is it always red as well?
I had a friend that made it red. It wasn't me. About the villains getting them,
Who are these people?
Suddenly, two people are walking towards them. One with a limp, the other one cracks his neck back into place, as if it was previously broken.
The professor and the scientist, I presume.
Has anyone ever told you two you look dead?
Actually, no, they haven't.
Both their eyes go black, just like stars before she died.
I think they're possessed.
Usually we are four-legged dark creatures running around the Shadow Realm. However, Nightmare has brought us here to aid him. These stupid bodies are the only way we can come to this realm for now.
Darkness killed two innocent people just for you two.
A worthy sacrifice.
Ben, stand back. Let me deal with this.
The professor makes quick work of these fresh-formed creatures. They are sloppy. They attack like their bodies are different. They fight like animals, not people. Professor simply takes out a light sword, ducks and spins, moving the blade through their tendons.
That was... wow.
Thanks, but I think we should get out of here.
What about the schematic?
Don't need it right now. We can fight him without the upgrades.
I guess.
The bodies on the ground start moving sharply, dislocating bones and then putting them back in place. They stand up. The cut left by the professor now shows a pure black shadow, part of their true form.
I thought you killed them.
We need to leave now.
But I saw you kill.
You can't kill what's not alive. Now run!
The professor and the scientists run and run. They end up in a destroyed field. No grass, just rocks. They soon see the crashed ship and realise that they are where Cyborg Bailey's and Cyborg Ben's ship crashed. And where Soldier regenerated.
Did you know you couldn't kill them?
Obviously, I don't kill. It's wrong.
How are you an assassin that doesn't kill?
With great skill.
Can't disagree with that.
Scientists, do we have any hope here?
I don't know.
One time I actually need Bailey.
As they stand and talk, a deformed zombie-like star appears.
Wait, Star?
The scientist, filled with guilt, almost, looking at Star now, hoping that there at least was a way to save her. Even if he couldn't find it, he'll add that to the list of things that he regrets.
Guessing she's possessed by a dark creature.
The dark creature tries to speak, but no words come out. Instead, it just latches on to the scientist.
Professor, help, she's got a good grip.
Always making me do everything.
The professor pulls out her gun. Just as she's about to shoot, the two dark creatures from behind grab her.
Hello, Professor and Scientist.
Found him.
Oh, really?
Silence! Now look who I found in a bathtub.
Darkness raises his hand, and as he waves it, a dark shadow appears. As the mist clears, Soldier teleports in.
How did you find him?
Wait, you put him in the bathtub?
I tracked his darkness. I am from the Shadow Realm, and that is covered in darkness. Also, that's where these amazing creatures are from. Just like them, I can sniff out darkness. Your friend Bailey is covered in it, shaped by it, moulded by it.
You're definitely ripping off Bane now.
Who is Bane?
You have never watched Batman? We are watching it after this is all over.
Now, the professor and the scientist aren't very close friends, one would say. I mean, this is the third time they've met up, and she's a different person now. She's regenerated. And yet, they both know what's happening. As this distraction is underway, Ben moves his hand onto his light sword, and the professor sees this.
Silence! You see, I am now level 2. If I take Bailey's darkness, I should be level 10.
You're not touching him. Now!
Ben ignites his light sword, pointing behind him, hitting Stockman, aka Dark Creature number 1. The two holding Professor's arms got dealt with by her. She flips, ripping their arms off in the process, then shoots both of them in the back of the head. The 3 dark creatures are now down.
Impressive. Too bad they're already dead.
The dark creatures begin to stand up. However, their skin seems to rip as this pure black form rips its way out. 3 full-form dark creatures on all fours stare at the scientist.
I will deal with them. You stop darkness.
Okay.
Foolish child.
Darkness takes out his dark sword. The professor goes for an attack as Darkness seems to be on the defensive. The professor keeps swinging with all her might as Darkness blocks every attack. He moves with elegance, like he knows where she'll strike. Ben fighting the creatures, and Professor fighting Darkness. The dark creatures jitter and crawl towards the scientist. They move ungodly and like rapid animals, attempting to bite the soul of the scientist. The scientist struggles in his fight, blocking mainly as he finds attacking leaves him too open. As he attacks one, the other 2 attack, prancing on top of him. Just as he manages to get one of them, another one strikes at his stomach. He swings his light sword, missing due to the odd complexion of the creatures. The scientist is exhausted, and as he looks to his side, the professor is being held by Darkness.
You have darkness as well. I'll be taking that.
Professor!
Bailey opens his eyes and begins trying to get up. Darkness holds their hand above the professor's head. A beam of dark energy leaks from the professor as Darkness smiles. She drops to the ground.
Wow. The power, level 5, which means I can do this.
He moves his hands upwards and everything freezes. Time stops.
That's better. Now, Bailey.
But Bailey was gone.
Well, you gotta go track him now. I'll let the dark creatures deal with you two.
He lifts his right hand and flicks it. Suddenly, a dark black tornado or something like that shadow surrounds him. As it clears, he's gone. Then, everyone manages to move again.
Run!
We need to find Bailey.
Let's escape these first.
Bailey's running as fast as he can down the street, stumbling everywhere he falls. And then, he gets caught by his wife.
Don't worry, I got you. Come on, the kids are waiting for you.
How are you here? You're dead.
Of course I'm not silly. You might be if you're not more careful with your travelling. The professor found you on Skaro.
I needed a break.
What, from your family? You should be here. More kids grow up fast, you know. Oh, and before I forget, there's a letter on the table over there from the Time Lord High Council. I don't know what it's for, though.
She points behind Soldier. As he turns around, there's nothing there for him. When he turns back, she's gone. He falls to the ground. Moments later, a crow flies in on the street. Then it morphs into darkness.
Where is that stupid Time Lord? I have other things to do.
He scans the area and then sees Soldier lying on the floor, barely conscious.
Hello. Now this may tickle.
Suddenly, darkness fills the air and Professor and Ben run over from the side as they hear Bailey screaming. "Ah! Ah! Ah!"
Hey!
The Professor runs over to Darkness and takes out a light sword.
It's fine. That's all I need. So much power.
Darkness has black eyes, and then They go as he grins, this being the first time he's been seen smiling.
Let's do this, Professor.
Should be an easy fight, scientist.
Professor swings the light sword diagonally towards Darkness. He simply dodges, moving faster than they have seen him move before. He doesn't even take out his dark sword. As the scientist goes for a sneak attack behind him, a pure black shadow tentacle grabs his neck from behind and holds him. The scientist cuts it and lands back on his feet. Darkness flicks his fingers, pointing towards the professor. She is flying backwards. He begins lifting cars and throwing them towards her. She ducks and rolls away, with one of the tires from the cars bouncing up in the air. Darkness uses his magic to fling it towards the scientist, hitting his leg. The professor runs forward while charging a swing. Darkness throws his hands violently towards her, making a small ball of dark energy hit her hand, making her drop her light sword. He then grabs her by the neck.
Lucky you. You get to be the first killer of this takeover of Multiverse C137. Don't worry, scientist. I know you're not from around here. Your Multiverse 13D will be next. This is what I do. I go to different multiverses and take over. This one is very special to me, though, as this one has some people who are very special to me.
Who is that, then?
You don't get to know.
So you can see the future as well.
I can.
What's my secret that I've heard of?
You don't get to know. But you, Ben, you can know. There is only one of you.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's only one of all of us.
Oh no. I mean, out of all the multiverses, there is only one.
That's not possible.
Well, enough chit chat. Time for a death. Goodbye, Professor.
Darkness makes his dark sword appear, then swings it, ready to plunge it into the professor's chest, but Bailey grabs it and pulls it back, using his special gloves made by the scientist. Hello. We meet at last. Sorry about before. Too much of the beer.
Oh, do you always do that?
What? Make jokes? Yeah.
Well, let's get rid of you quickly.
Darkness uses his magic to push Bailey back towards the professor's lightsaber. Bailey picks it up. Professor, catch!
Got it. Let's do this.
Soldier and the professor begin to swing their light swords. Darkness struggles to block all their attacks. The scientist joins in, with Soldier managing to make a hit.
Enough!
Everyone gets blown back. Soldier lands on the ground and rolls to help the impact. The scientist just hits the ground and screams.
Ow! I'm okay.
Crows fly towards Darkness, and then, when he is fully covered, they fly away, going in loads of different directions. Darkness is gone. Well, someone is going to have to tell me what the hell that was.
Gladly. Never leave me with the humans again.
I'll try not to. In the destroyed landscape in which the ship crashed, Cyborg Bailey waits, as he knows that this is when and where he needs to be, for this is when two beings of pure power must meet, two people from different sides of the spectrum of insanity. Hello.
Where did you come from?
Good question. Better question. What about you?
I come from the Shadow Realm.
No, you don't. I'm sure it's called a crawl.
How do you know that name?
Would you believe me if I said that's where I go on holiday? Oh, well, you see, I can see the future, just like you.
Ah, you're the little imp that tells the lies about a prophecy.
Cyborg Bailey teleports closer to Darkness, uncomfortably so, popping in and out of existence like he controls it. Sorry, I didn't know we were doing nicknames. Which one shall I use for you? Shadow, Pure Evil, Nightmare? Darkness grabs Cyborg Bailey by the neck. Dark Daddy it is.
Oh, great. Another Joker.
Cyborg Bailey teleports out of his grasp, then pulls out his light sword. Oh, you know this is going to be fun. My boss is making me do this. Nothing personal.
Well, to say you're lying to your boss about a prophecy, I feel like you could lie about this.
You're right. Really, I'm just interested.
In what?
Well, with who will win, of course. They begin to fight. Cyborg Bailey takes the offense as Darkness takes the defense. Darkness swings finally towards Cyborg Bailey for him to catch it. Darkness slides it out of his hand, expecting to do damage to CB. Did I forget to mention? Immortal. Darkness gets angry about this and begins to try and use his magic against Cyborg Bailey. Cyborg Bailey just moves faster. The fireballs just can't hit him. I need to follow the timeline I want perfectly to make sure I get what I need. I can't have you ruin that.
You know, at the final moment, it all does come down to a decision that Bailey makes. You can't do anything to change that.
I know he will make the right one.
I bet you £5 he won't.
Darkness gets cut by Cyborg Bailey's light sword. The sword sliding down Darkness's back. He doesn't even flinch.
Immortal as well.
I know that's silly, of course I do. That was just the warm-up. I know your weakness is the same, lad, in these things. I have a setting. Cyborg Bailey's light sword glows really bright, almost like a more crimson red than the blood. Now, enough of these games. We shall see how much it hurts. Cyborg Bailey keeps teleporting around Darkness.
Where have you gone, imp?
When Cyborg Bailey finally teleports back in, he doesn't have his light sword anymore. He's just punching Darkness in the face. To Cyborg Bailey, this will always just be a game. And him making sure his prophecy comes true, following everything exactly to the T. The thing is, Darkness' prophecy that he wants to come true is also very close to the same timeline. And that's when, as they're both about to hit each other, the fight just ends and they both stop suddenly. Cyborg Bailey just gives a massive smile. You know what? Let's make a deal. Use this lovely little device, kind of like a syringe thing, and take some of the soldier's regeneration energy. Bring it back to me, and in return, I will help you whenever you need. Like a friendship, as they call it here.
Sure. What will you tell your boss?
I'll tell him how a level 10 wizard got the best of me. Cyborg Bailey pops out of existence. Darkness just looks there, cold. And then, after a while, when he's tucking the scenery, he turns round and begins to walk. A nice, lovely stroll. At the front of soldiers in the scientist's house, the sun begins to set. The scientist at the door waiting for soldiers to say his goodbyes to the professor. They're at the front of the gate. Now, we may have lost today, technically, on a technicality, but it's going to be okay. At least we know more now, and we'll learn and keep going. It's just one battle. We'll win the war. Anyway, I guess you're leaving now, Professor.
I have to.
You know we have spare rooms. You can stay here for a bit. I bet we could do with your help.
I think you can handle it. Also, I have to see if I got my new promotion.
Oh my god, you got nominated. That's great.
I haven't won yet, though. Also, there's only a small number of us left after the fall.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
They share a hug as the scientist waves profusely.
Goodbye, soldier.
Goodbye, Professor. The professor starts walking away, but then turns back around.
Oh, Bailey. I saw your little shrine. It's nice. Good picture, and her favourite flowers. She would have loved it.
Bailey smiles and nods. Then, the professor uses a vortex manipulator to teleport away. Ben waves goodbye to the professor one more time, and then Bailey puts up one finger to signal 1 minute. Ben nods and goes inside. Bailey sits on the curb, and then suddenly, next to him, is his wife.
So, what did the letter say?
You know what it said. It already happened.
This war is wrong, and you know that you can't really be thinking of doing it.
It's from the Time Lord Council. If I don't do it, they can make life horrible for us.
At least we would be together.
I have to go. I'm sorry. Maybe with my help, this time war will end. Soldier turns his head to look at her. I know the memory finishes there, but stay a little longer, please.
I ain't going anywhere. My soldier.
They just sit there for a bit. Bailey holding her hand and cuddling up together. Then suddenly there's a bang. Bailey looks over. Darkness is there and his wife is gone.
Do you always talk to yourself?
What do you do? He begins to get up, but Darkness holds him down with some sort of force. It's like there's bricks all over him and he can't move.
I'm just here to get something.
He injects a needle into Soldier's neck, taking some sort of regeneration, maybe DNA. What do you need that for?
I don't. Goodbye. I hope I don't see you again. After all, I am quite busy.
Cars come out of nowhere and surround him. As they leave, he is gone.